Okay, this is my video for 463 for our interview with someone from the community. We had to, like I said, we had to interview someone from the community and figure out what we thought was the most important things about community education and how we thought that it was effective in the community and their role in community education. I chose Alice Eastman from the Schrader Center. I chose Alice because it was an easy resource for me to get to because I work there, and because I thought some of her ideas would be really good because, I mean, what they do at the center is really cool, especially when it comes to community education. A few of the questions I asked her, the first one was how she thought that community education was effective from the Schrader Center point of view, and she mentioned a couple things like their summer programs, some other things they did like REAP, REACH, and what they used to do with Mission Ground Truth and things like that, and other programs that they do throughout the year with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, many other things. They have many program coordinators that work together as a team and come up with these awesome programs for these kids, and even some adult programs that they do, and I thought that was really awesome. Another question I asked her was how effective she thought, because I wanted to see her comparison between formal and non-formal education, and I asked her about Common Core a little bit, and I wanted to compare them and put them together, which was kind of my idea. But I asked her how effective she thought Common Core was, and she said that she didn't think it was very effective. She didn't say it was a bad thing. It's a good premise behind it. So everybody, there's like a standard. She said like there needs to be a standard for everyone, and where everybody should be. But she said it's also not fair when you have lower income areas that can't afford books to keep up with that time that other states, not countries, I'm sorry, other countries can. I mean states. And that's good because the prime example she said was in West Virginia in Marshall County. She knows some of the grades have books that are 20 years or older, or almost 20 years old, and then in some areas they don't even have science books. So these kids don't have a science background, and they need things like the REAP and REACH program to come in and help them either reinforce or as a whole teach them, because teachers are teaching with no book, or, I mean, and you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't need a book to teach, but some kids need that extra like reading or that extra picture or something to get the point across to them, which I think is important. And then they can't get that because of the lack of book or the lack of the age of the book, and then the Common Core doesn't match up with that book. It doesn't go far enough, or it goes too far, or something along those lines. And then I had another question for her, which I thought was really important, was how could we better combine the two? And she had explained to me that REAP and REACH were the best way so far that they had found, the Schrader Center as a whole, to combine the two, because they go in and they teach kids about how to test water, how to test soil, a couple other programs to help the kids either reinforce or learn some new material based on science. And then I had asked her were there better ways to do this with other subjects, and she said that it's so simple to do it with other subjects because all we have to do is make programs for that. But in some cases, like she said, like with English, like the kids make a journal from what they learned from REAP and REACH. She said those English teachers could go in and reinforce and just use something as simple as that to help further the education in the English. So that would be simple. And she said other programs like the Stifle Center, who they have like a robotics camp over the summer, the fine arts things, and you could do even a history one from the Schrader Center point of view, just with natural history. You could do that. The museums around the area, the Children's Museum, they could do ones with history, and I mean the Children's Museum could really do it with anything because they're so broad with what they don't cover just one area. Like the Schrader Center just covers natural science, and the Stifle Center just covers art and music and things like that. But there are other ways to broaden this spectrum of community education and getting kids involved, which I think is awesome because, like Dr. Douglas has said, it's a growing trend. I mean, and it stretched from countries all the way over to the United States, which is awesome, and we can continue to bring it more. But overall, what I learned from Alice is that as of right now, the Strader Center is doing everything that they can and looking for new ways to help students, not just with their their informal education or non-formal education, but their informal education too. It's reinforcing and bringing the two together so the kids better understand and get to learn something while doing something fun, like a big science experiment or testing water in the creek or soil from just on their school playground or something. It's anything. And I think that's where community education is really growing, is things like these programs and it can be done anywhere really. We just have to show it to schools and show the effectiveness and the data from the Reap and Reach programs that actually work, and that the kids are actually retaining information, not just from the school's point of view, but from being in these programs and doing these things, these small experiments and these small lessons with these outside people that are not just their regular teachers. And it's a different face, and it's something cool that they might see. Even if it's bringing in animals and teaching them about that, they're still learning something new. And that's what lifelong learning is learning forever. And these kids are going to go home and teach their parents these things, which is awesome. So overall, I think that the big thing was how we can integrate the two. So.